Did you know that humans are wired to respond to emotions more than logic? A study by Princeton University found that stories engaging emotions activate more brain regions than factual stories. In fact, 95% of our decisions are driven by emotions, not rational thinking. This is why powerful stories stick with us long after we've heard them. Think about the last great movie or book you experienced. What made it unforgettable? Chances are, it wasn't just the plot or the characters, but how it made you feel. Stories that touch our hearts stay with us forever. In this guide, we're diving deep into the world of storytelling. We'll explore how to unlock the emotional core of your narrative, map out emotional journeys, and build characters that people relate to. We'll also cover sensory details, vulnerability, and the magic of music and sound. Plus, we'll look at pacing, cultural nuances, and interactive storytelling. By the end, you'll have all the tools you need to tell stories that captivate and connect. Ready to discover the power of emotion in storytelling? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Unlocking the Heart. The emotional core of stories. When it comes to storytelling, emotion is everything. The heart of your story often matters more than the plot itself. Stories that connect emotionally stay with people. Why? Because they resonate on a personal level. Identifying the emotional core of your story is crucial. This core is the primary feeling or message you want your audience to walk away with. According to psychologist Paul Ekman, humans share 6 basic emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust. Tapping into these can make your story universally relatable. For example, Pixar movies are great at this. Think about the joy and sadness in Inside Out. The film's success lies in its ability to convey deep emotions simply. Director Pete Docter once said, "We wanted to tell a story that was not just funny but also true to the emotional experience." To find your story's emotional core, ask yourself, what do I want my audience to feel? Then, build your narrative around this emotion. It's the difference between a forgettable tale and one that sticks. Chapter 2. Emotion Mapping, Creating Emotional Journeys. Emotion mapping is a fantastic tool for storytellers. It helps you plan out the emotional highs and lows of your narrative. Think of it like a roller coaster ride for your audience's feelings. Creating an emotional map involves plotting where you want your audience to experience specific emotions. Start by identifying key moments in your story. These are the beats that drive your narrative forward. For each beat, decide what emotion you want to evoke. Let's say you're writing a suspenseful thriller. You'd want moments of tension, surprise, and relief. A study by the University of California found that stories with fluctuating emotional arcs are more engaging. They keep the audience on their toes. Movies like Jurassic Park use emotion mapping brilliantly. Director Steven Spielberg crafts scenes that build tension before giving the audience a moment of relief. This ebb and flow keep viewers hooked. When you map out emotions, remember to balance them. Too much of one emotion can be overwhelming. Mix it up to keep your audience engaged. It's all about creating a journey, not just a series of events. Chapter 3. Empathy Engines, Building Relatable Characters. Characters are the empathy engines of your story. They're what make your audience care. To build relatable characters, focus on their flaws, dreams, and struggles. People connect with characters who feel real. According to research from the University of Southern California, viewers are more likely to empathize with characters who face moral dilemmas. It's because these situations reflect real-life choices and conflicts. Think about Frodo from The Lord of the Rings. He's not just a hero, he's an ordinary hobbit with fears and doubts. This relatability makes his journey compelling. As author J.R.R. Tolkien wrote, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. To create such characters, give them goals and obstacles. Show their vulnerabilities. A character's reaction to challenges reveals their true nature. This builds empathy and keeps the audience rooting for them. Remember, your characters don't have to be likable, but they do need to be relatable. Give them depth and dimension. Let their personalities shine through their actions and choices. Chapter 4. Sensory Symphony, Engaging All Senses. Engaging all 5 senses in your storytelling can elevate the emotional impact. When you make your audience see, hear, smell, taste, and touch your story, it becomes more vivid and memorable. Sensory details help create a complete picture. For example, J.K. Rowling uses sensory descriptions masterfully in the Harry Potter series. The smell of butterbeer, the sound of spells, and the sight of Hogwarts all make the magical world come alive. Research shows that sensory language activates different parts of the brain. A study by Emory University found that words related to smell, like cinnamon or lavender, light up the brain's smell-related regions. This makes the experience more immersive for the reader or viewer. To harness this, describe your scenes using sensory details. Instead of saying, "The food was delicious," say, "The warm, gooey chocolate chip cookie melted in her mouth, releasing a rich, buttery sweetness." This creates a stronger, more vivid image. Sound can also enhance emotion. Think about how horror movies use creaky doors and eerie music to build tension. Using sound in your narrative can trigger specific emotions. Alfred Hitchcock once said, "The sound and the visual together can be greater than the sum of their parts." Don't forget touch and taste. These senses are often overlooked but can be powerful. A character feeling the rough texture of an old letter or the tangy taste of lemonade can make a scene more real and emotional. Chapter 5. The Vulnerability Advantage. Sharing authentic experiences. Sharing authentic experiences can create a deep connection with your audience. Vulnerability in storytelling makes your narrative genuine and relatable. Brené Brown, a research professor at the University of Houston, emphasizes the power of vulnerability. She says, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change." Sharing your struggles and emotions can foster empathy and trust. Take the memoir, Eat, Pray, Love, by Elizabeth Gilbert. Her honest recounting of her journey through heartbreak, self-discovery, and healing resonated with millions. It's her vulnerability that made the story powerful and relatable. When crafting your story, don't shy away from showing weaknesses and failures. Authenticity comes from sharing the highs and lows. This honesty can turn a simple story into an inspiring journey. Show your characters' inner battles. Let them confront their fears and doubts. This not only adds depth but also makes their victories more meaningful. As Kurt Vonnegut said, "We have to continually be jumping off cliffs and developing our wings on the way down." Vulnerability also means being open to different outcomes. Sometimes, the most compelling stories are those that don't end perfectly. They reflect real life, where resolutions aren't always neat and tidy. Chapter 6. Emotional Triggers, Using Music and Sound. Music and sound are powerful tools to evoke emotions. They can set the tone, build tension, and enhance the emotional depth of your story. Hans Zimmer, a renowned film composer, once said, "Music is 50% of the movie-going experience." This highlights how crucial sound is in storytelling. The right music can make a scene unforgettable. Think of the movie, Jaws. The iconic two-note score by John Williams creates a sense of impending danger. Without it, the shark might not have been as terrifying. This shows how music can amplify emotions. Incorporate music into your storytelling to trigger specific feelings. Use a soft melody to convey sadness or an upbeat tune for joy. Sound effects can also add realism and evoke emotions. The sound of rain can bring a sense of calm, while thunder can create tension. A study by the University of Groningen found that music can significantly affect mood and perception. Happy music makes people perceive happy faces more, while sad music makes them more likely to notice sad faces. When using music and sound, be mindful of their impact. They should complement your story, not overpower it. The goal is to enhance the emotional experience, making your narrative more immersive and engaging. Chapter 7. Pacing for Impact, Timing Emotional Beats. Pacing is crucial in storytelling. It's about timing your emotional beats to keep your audience engaged. Think of it as a rhythm that guides your narrative. A well-paced story balances action with reflection. Too much action can be exhausting, while too much reflection can be boring. Author Stephen King says, "Pacing is the speed at which your narrative unfolds." It's about knowing when to slow down and when to speed up. Start by identifying key emotional moments in your story. These are your beats. For example, a suspenseful scene might be followed by a quiet, introspective moment. This contrast makes the suspense more effective. Movies like The Shawshank Redemption handle pacing brilliantly. The film balances moments of intense drama with quiet, reflective scenes, keeping viewers emotionally invested throughout. According to a study by the University of Southern California, varying the pace of your story can significantly impact audience engagement. Fast-paced sections grab attention, while slower parts allow for emotional depth and character development. Use short, punchy sentences to speed up the pace. Longer, more descriptive sentences can slow it down. This helps control the flow of your narrative. Transitions are also key. Smooth transitions between scenes keep the audience connected. Abrupt changes can disrupt the emotional flow. Think of your story as a series of waves, with each beat building on the last. Chapter 8: Cultural Tapestry, Weaving Universal and Unique Emotions. Weaving universal and unique emotions into your story creates a rich, cultural tapestry. It's about making your narrative relatable while also highlighting its uniqueness. Universal emotions, like love, fear, and joy, resonate with everyone. They're the common ground that connects us. For instance, Shakespeare's plays are timeless because they explore universal themes of love, jealousy, and ambition. At the same time, unique cultural details add depth and authenticity. They make your story stand out. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, in her book, Americana, beautifully blends universal emotions with Nigerian cultural nuances, creating a story that's both relatable and unique. Research by the Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology shows that stories incorporating both universal and cultural elements are more engaging. They provide a window into different experiences while connecting on a fundamental human level. To achieve this balance, start with universal themes. Then, layer in cultural specifics. Describe customs, traditions, and settings unique to your story's background. This creates a vivid, immersive world. Characters should reflect this blend too. Give them universal desires and fears, but also unique cultural identities. This makes them more relatable and complex. Language plays a role as well. Using culturally specific phrases and dialogues adds authenticity. Just ensure it's accessible to a broader audience. Provide context when necessary. Chapter 9: Interactive Storytelling, Engaging Your Audience's Emotions. Interactive storytelling is the future. It engages your audience by making them active participants in the narrative. This creates a deeper emotional connection. One way to do this is through choices. Allow your audience to influence the story's direction. Interactive films like Black Mirror, Bandersnatch on Netflix let viewers make decisions that affect the outcome. This level of engagement makes the experience more personal and memorable. Games are another great example. They immerse players in the story, allowing them to experience emotions firsthand. A study by the University of Wisconsin-Madison found that interactive elements can enhance emotional engagement and retention. To incorporate interactivity, think about where your audience can have input. This could be through choices, comments, or even creating content related to your story. Encourage participation and feedback. Social media is a powerful tool for this. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok allow you to engage with your audience in real time. Use polls, questions, and interactive posts to make your story more dynamic. Virtual reality, VR, is also worth exploring. It offers an immersive experience that can transport your audience into the story. VR storytelling can evoke strong emotions by making the audience feel like they're part of the narrative.